Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Mustafa. We're going to be talking about the importance of the MenACWY vaccine that helps protect against meningitis, that is required and recommended for those who want to take part in the Hajj and Umrah pilgrimages. I'm Caroline, and I'm the Support Services Manager at Meningitis Research Foundation. In the support team, we get a lot of questions all about this, so we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Dr. Mustafa, please can you introduce yourself and let us know a little bit more about you and all the amazing work that you do?
Thank you very much, Caroline, for asking me to join with you. And that's something, it's not only a job, it's something, a sacred job for me, because the people are going there for Hajj and Umrah, and if we can guide them, if we can tell them, if we can advise them the right thing, this would be something that will be to our credit as well, and we will be part of that good efforts. As for me is concerned, you asked about me. I have got around 30 years of clinical experience, and I was chairman of the pediatric department at National Medical University, Multan, Pakistan. And I was there and I work as a consultant pediatrician. From there, I have moved to the Saudi Arabia, where I am affiliated with the Shakra University in the College of Medicine. And here I am again a consultant pediatrician, and also teaching the final year classes. So to summarize, I have got almost more than 32 years experience, clinical experience, working in the pediatrics and in the clinical fields, and dealing with the cases of meningitis, especially in the children. And also I have experience with the Hajj and Umrah. I performed my first Hajj in 1982 when I was quite young, and then again in 2007 with my wife, and this year again I plan for Hajj, and just last month I returned from Umrah as well.
That's great. Thank you so much for talking about all of that. And again, thank you so much for talking to us today about this important topic. So it'd be really helpful if you could give us a little bit of an overview of what meningitis is for people who may not have heard of it before, or for people who just want to understand it a little bit better.
So in meningitis, it is the meninges. What are meninges? Meninges are the covering of the brain and our spinal cord. So if some organism, it may be bacteria, it may be virus, it may be a fungus, but then there can be parasite as well. So anything actually that attacks on the meninges, the covering of the brain and the spinal cord, we will always call it itis, meningitis. But it will depend what the cause is. And once it is itis, so there are few things that are associated. One thing is that once it attacks, the body tries to resist it. It has got a defensive system. So when it defends, trying to defend, it gets swell up. So there is a swelling, and that again tries to defend the body. But if it fails, the organisms, they attack and they invade inside the brain and the spinal cord. That leads to the increase in the infection. What we are concerned about, or what we are afraid of, is actually bacterial. This one is a problem, this meningococcal, that is not usually or widespreadly given. So this bacteria, that's Neisseria meningitis, or meningococcal in simple terms, we say this is also bacteria. What the cause is, they are very rapid to act. We have to respond very initially. Otherwise, what happens is they enter into the brain. Once they invade inside the brain or spinal cord, then even if the child or the person is, he recovers,
it can cause damage
to the brain, some part of the brain. Maybe afterwards the person recovers, but his vision, maybe his hearing, maybe he has got a paralysis. So he is going to have some kind of residual damages, and that is very important. The person is alive, he is there, but he is not fully functional. So one has to be very careful to act speedily. Rather, it is better to act beforehand and get vaccinated.
Yes, that's really good advice. And as you say, it can have real difficult, challenging, life-changing effects for people, and can sadly cause death as well. So as you say, it's so important to act quickly if people are worried about meningitis.
Just going before the vaccines, it reminded me, that initially, before 1987, so there were people who were coming from the Hajj because this meningitis, especially few strains like A, like C or W, these are three out of the four that are present in the usual vaccines. These uh, three, they were very notorious for uh, causing epidemics. And there were thousands of people who were contracting meningitis, and they were at least 10 to 20% of them, they were dying. In hundreds, they were dying after Hajj. So once they make it mandated, the Saudi government, then they make it mandatory to have meningitis vaccines. And since then, it has decreased dramatically. Now almost 99% of the people actually all have certificates, and it has decreased the cases dramatically. So what I want to say, or what I want to stress, is that if the people are not vaccinated, then there are quite very chances that they may get, still in spite of all the vaccination, they may have it. So the Saudi government did it, and still it is in place that nobody can come inside in the Saudi for Hajj if he has not had the certificate for the meningitis vaccine.
No, that's great. Thank you. That's really helpful context for people to understand the history of the vaccines in this area and why it's so important in particular. So we're really fortunate that, as you mentioned, there are vaccines that can help protect us from meningitis. Could you tell us a little bit about the vaccine that is recommended for Hajj and Umrah pilgrims?
Yes. For Hajj, actually, there are three types of vaccines. So there are usually 4, 5, 6 organisms that are more commonly involved. So what the Saudi government is mandating, or is mandatory, the vaccine that is the meningococcal vaccine. Meningococcal vaccine, they are also, again, 2, 3 types. But what we are concerned is the one which is mandatory, that is the meningococcal A, C, W, and Y. These are the 4 organisms against which this vaccine works. And this vaccine is obviously, these are 3 of them, A, C, and W. Y is less common. But at any place where there is crowding, close contact, the people are very near, since it spreads from the droplet infection. The people cough, and once somebody coughs, obviously the droplets go quite beyond. And defense system becomes weak once somebody is exhausted, is tired, is deficient of, say, he has not taken the food. So all these factors are there at the time of Hajj. The feeding is irregular, they are too much, they have to walk because of all the rituals over there. So they are all tired, and their defense system is weakened for multiple of reasons. So they are prone to have it. So it is better to be protected. The one mandatory is meningococcal vaccine, and we call it ACWY. These are the 4 organisms against which this provides protection.
That's really helpful. Thank you. And I think it's really important actually to think about what you mentioned about people being exhausted and tired and it being quite physically challenging, and that may be weakening defense systems as well. I think that's really interesting thing for people to be aware of. I think it's really important as well for people to be aware that actually often cases happen after people return home from doing Hajj or Umrah, and actually it's about protecting family and friends back home as well with that vaccine too. So that's a really important thing for people to bear in mind as well.
Talking more than a doctor, at the moment, because I mean, we are talking about only the people over there inside. But this also very important, and you have pointed out very correctly. This is very important. Once the person is coming from there, all the children, all the people around, because many people, they will come to see them, and they will be hugging many people. So they are actually a potential source for spreading this meningitis after they come back. This was very important, and I thank you for pointing it out.
Thank you. So that's really useful context for people to understand why the vaccine's so important, how it protects pilgrims and also their communities from meningitis, not just at the time of the pilgrimage, but also when they return home. I'd like to ask you if you could talk a little bit about how the vaccine aligns with your faith and if you have any thoughts on that.
This is something important because religiously, our deen, Islam, it's always a protecting. It always says not only to protect yourself, but also to protect others. It always says and guides to help others, to prevent others and prevent harm to others. So nothing to do which can harm somebody else or which is painful to somebody else. This is something, a standard teaching rather in every religion, but more so and very much stressed in Islam as well. So it is mandated, and it's by law. Once it is mandated, we should follow it. Not only for just because of the law, but just because it is going to help me, it is going to help my family, it is going to help all of the rest of the people around who are there. So if I contact, say, meningitis, and I'm spreading it to 100 people over there, I'm not doing anything good over there. I mean, maybe I'm performing the Hajj, but I'm causing problem for so many others. So this is not permissible, or this is not what our deen or what our Islam says. So this is very much necessary. So we have to be careful, not by just for ourselves, not just because of the law, but also because of Allah's commandments to secure oneself, himself, and also to take care of others.
That's great. Thank you. That's really interesting and really informative to hear and understand. I just wondered, do you have anything that you would want to say to anyone who isn't sure about getting the MenACWY vaccine for either Hajj or Umrah pilgrimage?
There was, I mean, one of my friends, he was saying, well, I don't need a vaccination just because I'm very healthy and I'm young and there's no, it's not going to harm me if I do not take it. But again, the same logic that I just already said, that it's not just for you, it's for all the people who are around, and you have to take care of all those. And that is why we say that you get vaccinated.
Some of the questions we get from people who are planning to undertake Hajj or Umrah is how can they find out about what vaccines they've had, as they're sometimes unsure if they've had the MenACWY vaccine. How would you suggest someone can find out if they or their family have had the correct vaccination?
Actually, the one vaccine which is there are three vaccines available, and all these three, they have got these four strains A, C, W, and Y, and they are the Minectra, there's a MenACWY, and there's Minex something, Minex Dextra, like this another name. But the commonest is the Minectra, which is available almost everywhere, or even MenACWY is also available. So both these vaccines, they are usually available. They are both conjugated vaccines. And for conjugated vaccine, one thing has to know that this is safe for all the people, and this usually works for 5 years actually. What Saudi government is asking is that vaccine has to be taken at least 10 days prior to coming or getting entry into the Saudi Arabia. This is mandatory. So one has to take these vaccines 10 days before. So everybody who is coming, he should have it. They are recommended actually for everybody. Nowadays, we have started, even in UK, they have started this giving in the very first year. There is another type that we call polysaccharide that usually is fading away nowadays and not available very widely. That is given later on, and that has got effect for around 3 years. One thing that I would like to add is that whenever even the people are present inside the Saudi Arabia or outside, once they get their vaccination, previously it was only the cards they had, but nowadays the Saudi government has got an application, and the name is known as NUSUK, NUSUK. So once anybody is present on the Android as well as on the iOS system, and one can download it, and they have to enter it, their status over there, or on the site of Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, there is a link, and they will have to show their certificate over there, and they will enter it, and their status will be updated. So nobody is allowed to go further or register himself until unless he has shown that he has taken the vaccine.
Perfect, thank you. And if anyone is ever unsure, we always recommend to speak to a GP or a family doctor or healthcare provider to find out what vaccines you've had and if they will cover you for the pilgrimage. That's fantastic. Thanks again, Dr. Mustafa, for your time. We really appreciate you answering these really important questions for people who want to learn about meningitis, the MenACWY vaccine, and why it's so important to help protect people doing the Hajj and Umrah pilgrimages, as well as their wider family and friends when they return home. If anyone has any further questions or wants to know more information about this, you can visit our website, meningitis.org, email helpline@meningitis.org, or call us on 0808 800 3344. Thank you.
Thank you very much.